morning, YouTube. Arizona RE here on a brisk, very brisk morning. MLK holiday, Martin Luther King holiday. And it's a federal holiday and a state holiday. For those of you that don't know what the difference is, a federal holiday, it's been a federal holiday for a while. And federal holiday basically means that federal employees, with the exception of things like certain law enforcement and military and such, get a paid holiday or a paid day off. Federal government-backed institutions like banks, the post office, and things like that are also closed on those days. Now, Arizona wasn't always an MLK holiday state. They were coerced, I believe, back in 1992, thereabouts. They were coerced. They were told that they weren't going to get their first Super Bowl, that Phoenix wasn't going to get their first Super Bowl if Arizona didn't adopt a Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, which the state legislature at the time was, I guess they kind of figured, you know, there were already enough paid holidays, so they ended up having to scrap one of their other holidays in order to create the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And so now it's a state holiday too. So when you have a state holiday, that means that your state, the local municipality governments are all closed on that holiday as well. So your trash isn't going to get picked up, and with the exception of law enforcement, there's pretty much nothing you're going to get done. You're not going to be able to go get your utility bills taken care of and such. You know, Martin Luther King Jr. holiday is about more than just having a day off. And, you know, I try to stay away from controversial topics on my vlog, really, because there's enough controversy in our lives and easily consumed anytime you want to have it. But Martin Luther King Jr., in his I Have a Dream speech, said that he dreamed of a day when a man would be judged by the content of his character rather than the color of his skin. And so many people nowadays, they don't think words mean anything. And I'm afraid that those words don't seem to mean as much to folks nowadays, at least in this country. At the time he said them, it was one of the bravest things somebody could have done. Someone in his position could have done. It was one of the bravest things you could have done, because there was a lot of hate back then. There's still some hate now, but not like it was back then. And I'm afraid that our media here in the United States has turned into one giant commercial monster where everything is presented in a light that equates it to the movement, the civil rights movement of the 60s and 70s. Let's see, people with long-haired dogs aren't allowed to live in a certain apartment complex, so it'll be carried and championed as though it's a equivalent of the civil rights movement, and I believe that really undermines the spirit and the accomplishments of the civil rights movement. At any rate, folks, words mean something, and when Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said that he dreamed of a day when a man will be judged by the content of his character rather than the color of his skin, you'll notice that he didn't say black or white, simply that they would be judged by the character, not the color of their skin. So it really transcends a white and black thing. And Reverend King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., happy birthday. And God bless you. You were a great American. And that's all I've really got to say on that. So for those of you that have the day off, enjoy your Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Please remember the reason for it. And it is most certainly an American holiday. Thank you, folks. Have a good night.